Fantastic. Well, welcome everybody who's watching on our video. We are excited to have part 2 of our training tonight. And as we just talked about a little bit here, but I'll mention it again, we are focusing on part 2 tonight of our MBA, our Master's in Beauty Associate's degree, that's what we call it. And this is lessons 6 through 10. And our first 5 lessons talk more about the beauty consultant how-to with packing and booking your parties and your appointments and coaching your hostesses so that you ensure that you have a great party, pre-profiling your guests, and time management and professional attire. So that's kind of what we talked about, kind of the beauty consultant portion. Now we're going to actually talk more about your strategic plan and writing yourself a paycheck, kind of your financial overview, and building your team. So that's kind of our focus tonight. So one of the first things I want to talk about tonight, feels like it's working over here, and I have the air on, so if that gets chilly, just tell me. That's why it's so loud. I'm like, why is it so loud? Thanks, Shannon. So what we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to first of all start, and I want to explain what what your ordering options are, okay? Because as a new consultant, I think this can be fantastic, but I think it's a little confusing, but it's all in your favor. Mary Kay always makes great changes. When I started, this was not in place, this earned discount privilege, so I kind of want to explain what this is for you. As a new consultant, you have several new consultant bonuses, and if you listen to the recorded call that was sent on your email, if you haven't had a chance to listen to that, it's about a 30-minute recorded call, and it talks about all your inventory options. It's kind of a buffet of all your options. And so there's no right or wrong. Some consultants start with no inventory, some consultants start with a store, and most start with somewhere in between. Whatever's comfortable for you, but whatever motivates you, okay? And you'll know what that is. You know, if you're overwhelmed thinking about something else, then start where you're comfortable and where you're motivated. There's nothing better than needing to order soon, because that means you're selling product and it's coming off your shelf fast. The biggest part that we want to work through is that the very first order is when you have the most new consultant bonuses, the free product from the company. So we never want to miss those opportunities to get product. What you can earn in one order takes me all year to earn, and I'm on the National Court of Sales every year. So it's really a big deal that you can get hundreds free. So that's why I spend time talking about it, and make sure you know what all your options are, and then you can decide, okay? So you may want to jot this down just for a little bit, but this is the minimum order you can place with a company is 200 wholesale, and you can write it anywhere because these are your notes. The minimum order is 200 wholesale, and when you sell it, it's 400 retail. Okay, so wholesale would be like going to Sam's Club or Costco or like a discount store. Think of it that way, your cost. And then retail is when you sell it to your customers. So in other words, we buy it for $1, we sell it for $2. Does that make sense? So once you place a 200 wholesale order or more, like your first order, you might do a 600, which is a qualified order. That's where some of your new consultant bonuses start. Or 1,200 or 1,800 or whatever you decide to do. Okay, those are where some new consultant bonuses start. If you start with 200 wholesale, there are no bonuses there, but that's the smallest order you can place with the company. Okay, a lot of people aim for the 600 wholesale or higher because that's where those new consultant bonuses are. So again, if you have not listened to that 30-minute recording, it's by National Sales Director Stacey James. She does a fabulous job of explaining the whole buffet of options, and then you have options. So I would just listen to that with your spouse or, by yourself, whatever works for you, your support system, and then that way you can decide what you want to do. So now back to the 200. You may want to write down, like here we're in the month of September, so let's write month 1 equals September. So once you place an order, whether it's a 200 to get active, or whether it's a 600 or a 1,200 or 800 or whatever your new consultant order is, okay? Does that make sense? You're placing an order that's 200 wholesale or higher, okay? Whatever it is. So month 1 is this month, okay? You're active, okay? Then month 2 would be October. You may want to write that down. Month 2 is October, and month 3 would be November. So technically you are active through your first 3 months of whenever you place an order. Now, for me, when I worked in the bank, I always thought in quarters. I thought January, February, March, April, May, June, but it doesn't work that way. It works from the month that you order and then plus 2. So the month plus 2. So September, October, November. Does that make sense? So what's cool about this is because you've placed a minimum order or more, doesn't matter, at least 200 wholesale or more, you have what we call an earned discount privilege. And what's great about that is you can order any size order of any quantity. You just have to pay the $8.95 flat shipping. So again, another perk for Mary Kay. Most companies have gone up with shipping. You know, if I order Land's End or JCPenney's or Zappos, one of my favorite online stores for shoes, it's by weight. So you pay by weight. With Mary Kay, it's a flat $8.95. I have 3 boxes that came in there today that were delivered. It was $8.95. So whether I get 3 boxes or 1 box or 50 boxes, it's $8.95. Isn't that cool? So you would place an order. You're active, because I digress, and it can be confusing. So that's why I want to go through it with you. You can place any dollar order. So let's say, Emily, I'm your customer, and I drop my compact. And our compacts are really durable. But let's say I drop it and it's on my tile floor and it's a mess. So what I do then is I call you and I say I need product. Well, maybe you just ordered. So maybe you need $70 worth of stuff. You don't have to place a $200 because you're already active. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So you can place my $70 order, charge me for it, $140 or whatever, and only pay the $8.95 shipping. I'm happy, you're happy, it's all good. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you're using your earned discount privilege. For people like Tammy and myself and other people that order and have parties all the time, I never have to worry about this because I'm ordering every month. I'm not waiting and dragging out for 3 months before I order again. I'm ordering probably 2-3 times a month. Does that make sense? I try to group my orders together so I'm not doing $8.95, $8.95, $8.95. You know, it's a reasonable shipping rate, but I don't want to do it 5 times a month because $40 for shipping is crazy, right? But just know that you have options. Yeah, you just sweep across. Thank you. It's awesome. Way to go, techie friend. So you're active, you can wait, and you don't have to order because you've got that earned discount privilege. And remember, there's no quotas in Mary Kay, so you don't have to order except once a year, okay? So when it comes to 11 months around, the company will say, okay, Emily, Shannon, it's been 11 months since you ordered. If that were the case, it's time to order again. I mean, so technically you'll be off mailing lists, and you won't get referrals from the company. Like if Jack said, hey, I want to get some men's skincare products, and I'm going to get a hold of Shannon, because she's my consultant, and I go to marykay.com to try to find you, he won't be able to find you because you're not active. If it's more than 6 months since you ordered, you'll be what the company considers inactive, but you're not terminated until a year goes by. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. A lot of companies, if you don't order for 3 months, you're out. Or if you don't order 3 months, you don't get commissions or whatever. We're not like that, okay? So it's really generous, and the no quotas are fantastic. I just want to make sure you understand how wonderful it is to have the earned discount privilege. Hey, Zach. You getting jazz?
Yes.
Thank you. It's my 13-year-old. He's on jazzy duty. Thanks, honey. So it's nice to have this earned discount privilege if you need it, because maybe you're moving, or maybe you're having a baby, or you're changing jobs, or life happens. You might need that. So it's a good thing to have this earned discount privilege. But if you're holding parties, even 1 or 2 a month, you're going to be ordering every month, like Tammy and me and many others in our unit. So it's never going to be an issue for you. You'll never need your earned discount because you'll always be active. Does that make sense? You're never going to wait till the 3 months before you're inactive again. So did I confuse you?
Mm-mm.
Be honest.
No, totally understand.
Does that make sense? So it's my job to track that. So if for some reason, you know, here we are September, October, you did a 70 order or 90 or 100 or whatever. If you get to like 150, then I say push it and go to the 200 because then you're active again. Then it would be October, November, December. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So if you're really close to that 200, I would just encourage you to push to the 200 because you're almost there. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. If I'm losing you, just let me know. And if you're watching and you're confused, please just call me because it's a great perk. But I just want to make sure people understand what it's about. Okay. All right, so let's move on to lesson 6. And we just kind of read this together, and then we'll have kind of a summary of everything, all these little sheets. We'll have that all at the end. And hopefully the organization will make sense. But let's jump into money management. I get excited about money management because if you had a padded bank account, you wouldn't be doing Mary Kay. We wouldn't be building our businesses together, right? And so Mary Kay always said, you were in business for yourself, but never by yourself. So I want you to always feel supported and encouraged in your Mary Kay businesses. So does anybody like to read? Anybody want to read that? Everybody's being quiet. Okay, I'll start. Maybe I'll be less shy then. MBA lesson number 6. Can you tell I hate hearing myself talk about that? Money management. 90% of businesses fail due to bad money management. To graduate this course this semester, you're to have a Mary Kay checking account, savings account, a 12-month sales receipt and envelope system created, and using the 60-40 split method, and I'll explain that, with our business tracking register. Make good money decisions and your money will work for you. Embezzle and you'll go to Mary Kay jail or you'll be out of business. Keep going. Your graduation ceremony is coming. Earning your MBA certificate and your Mary Kay professional beauty coat. So your Master's in Beauty Associate's degree. All right, so now what we're going to talk about is we're going to go through money management principles for your business success. And so we're going to start with managing your money. Okay, I'm just going to kind of review this with you. The biggest reason that consultants quit this business, and in my 16 years of doing this, is so agree with this, is not that they don't like it or they don't have time. It's because they have poor money management. And I've learned my lesson. Have you ever heard that you sign up for the same lesson until you get it? I've done this where I've done poor money management, and my husband has said, you've got to get on top of this. And to have integrity with your business, you have to be able to manage your money. So you'll notice that so much of what we talk about in Mary Kay parallels life. You know, there's so many more things that, you know, time management, money management, emotional management, you know, all these things really help us with life stuff, not just Mary Kay stuff, okay? Here are tips to ensure that you stay in business and make money in the process. So the first thing is you need to do is sell something. Mary Kay Ash says, nothing happens until someone sells something. Isn't that true? She said it's just as noble to sell as it is to buy, okay? So that's why we get you into training right away to ensure your success. So I applaud you both for being here because it's a nice September night. You could be somewhere else on your week off. So I applaud you for being here because it just wouldn't be near as fun without you. The next thing is that you keep all of your Mary Kay money separate from your personal. So if you have a Mary Kay checkbook and you have your personal checkbook in your purse and you just made a delivery and you picked up cash or a check from someone, you'd never put that in your personal account because then you commingle funds. It's very easy to get confused. So you need to have a separate checking account, preferably a free checking, wherever you bank now, a savings account, credit cards, loan, etc. Now I personally like to use a debit card because then I stay accountable to myself and I don't get in trouble. The only time I use a credit card is when I have to, like to book. I book my flights with a debit card, but I use a credit card for hotels because they hold funds. Have you ever heard that? You've seen that sign a lot of times that they have when you check in. So it's not ideal at all to use a debit card because they can hold your funds up to a couple weeks. So I use a credit card there. Third, and the probably most important, is that whenever you have a sale, you practice the 60-40 split. Now you might be going, wait a minute, Jane, we make 50%. What's this 60-40 thing? So I want to explain what this is. It's an easy concept that will guarantee that you have money to reorder the products you need. The 60-40 split is recommended after you have an initial inventory of 3,000 wholesale or more. There's nothing really magical about that, but basically you have enough inventory to service the amount of customers you have. If you have 10 customers, that might be too much for you. If you have 100 customers, that will be good. I have probably about 400 customers, and I have about 8,000 wholesale on my shelf. So if I were to start with 8,000 wholesale, I would have been freaked out. You probably could relate to that. But I'm not freaked out now. I'm freaked out when I don't have 8,000 on my shelf because I need it. Like when this order came today, I was like, oh, good, because I have a little bag full of deliveries I'm going to make. And you'll see that when we take a break and I show you my inventory. But I needed that order. So that's what happens now is when you have that much inventory in hand, you'll be able to service your customers right away. If your inventory is less, it's recommended that you reinvest your profits. So the 50% to replace what you sold, because what you paid for the product or what you ordered for the product, but then your profit to put it back into that to build your inventory. Does that make sense? So we're going to see that in our business tracking register. The 50% will be used to replace your product inventory. And so if you flip the page, that's kind of what I'm flipping back and forth with. So we got this business tracking register, and it's listed by month and year, and it's got your monthly budgeted expenses. Now what I love about this sheet is, number one, it's simple. Number two, a few of our consultants have liked it so much they put it on Excel. So I will get that to you because a few people tweaked it because I've had different versions of it. But you would put your balance forward and then you put your deposit without the tax. Now remember, if you haven't heard me talk about this, Mary Kay, anytime you have your own business, any of the businesses that you work for in your day job have to have a sales tax permit. And so what's nice about this is Mary Kay takes care of the fact that we need a sales tax permit. We pay the tax to the company when we place our orders. So you'll pay Mary Kay wholesale, not the retail, because that's what your customers pay you, okay? You're gonna pay the wholesale to Mary Kay plus the tax on the retail. So let's say just for simple math, I got $100 retail worth of product, 100 retail, what my customers are gonna pay me. Tax on that in Wisconsin is 5.5%, right? So it'd be $100 plus $5.50 when I charge my customer. Well, when I pay Mary Kay for that, it would be $50, right? Plus the $5.50. So I would pay her the full tax, but only half. Did I lose you? Half on the wholesale. I don't pay the retail price. Does that make sense? So Mary Kay takes the tax that we pay her, and she turns around and sends it to the local county and state sales tax people. Isn't that awesome? So we don't have to worry about that. And I've had my own business before, and for whatever reason, we had a hiccup with that with our banker and our accountant. They thought the other one was turning in our paperwork, and they didn't, and we got a fine, and it was a mess, and it was not our fault, but they worked it out, and whatever. So it's nice not to worry about it. Let's just put it that way. So your deposit, your sales without your tax goes in that first middle section, and then your sales tax. Now notice it says inventory, 50%. Let's say you ran into Festival Foods or Cops or Super Value or whatever on your way home, and they did not have eggs in the grocery store, or bread, or peanut butter, whatever you're looking for. Obviously, they didn't manage their inventory money well, right? So we go to the store, we expect to get things that we need. So if you start with 600 wholesale or 1,800 wholesale, which is a common spot because it's half of a store, if you start there, you don't want to go backwards and sell your product and then not replenish what you sold. Does that make sense? So that's that middle section there. You want to replace what you sold. That's what the 50% is. Make sense? Okay, sales tools. This is for sales supplies like brochures, business cards, might be samplers, it might be little sample hand creams, it might be the preferred customer gift with purchase, maybe you've gotten from Tammy as a gift when you spend $40 or more, cotton balls, headbands, things to get your business started. That's what sales tools would be, okay? Now the business income, that's your paycheck. That's your 40% right there. So you can take that and you can put that right back into your inventory until your inventory is where you need it to support your customers. Or if you need it, if your tires go out or your hot water heater goes out or whatever, you can take income from that if you need to, okay? But this is how you'd figure out how to write yourself a paycheck, because you'd see exactly at the end of the week what your 40% of your amount was. So just for simple math again, let's say your deposit is $1,000, okay? You had 3 parties and they total $1,000. So you'd write $1,000 in the sales. You'd have, $55 in your sales tax. Your inventory would be $500, right? Because you just took $500 worth of wholesale product off your shelf. You need to put it back on. Your sales tools would be $100, and your business income would be $400. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's how you would do it every time you make a deposit. Might be weekly, might be twice a week, depends on how much you have there, and you can use that for the month end. See how simple that is? So if you do this in Excel, if you like computer stuff and you like computer tools to make things simple, it'll just do the math for you, which is really nice. Now here's where sometimes people tweak this. Out of your business income comes your hostess credit. So we are really generous with our hostesses because they're our partner for the evening, but we're not crazy with our hostess credit. Does that make sense? Usually it's 20 to 25% of whatever the total sales are for that party, and I'll explain that in section 1, how we talk about our half-back bonus. That's a 25% discount, and you'll see that when you're able to watch part 1. But we don't really go more than that because you're in this to earn money, right? Not to give away the store, but they're your business partner for the evening, right? So some people are just really careful not to overspend there so that their paycheck is a good amount, okay? The other thing people like to save for is Tammy and I and Jack and Curtis, my husband, when we went to Dallas this summer in July, we counted up, and it's about $20 a week to go to your continuing education for Mary Kay. So as a nurse, you have continuing ed. When I was in counseling and HR, we had continuing ed. You have continuing ed. It's just what we do. Jack does too. So to stay good at what we're doing and stay up and on all the trends and the new strategies and tools and resources, we need to go to continuing education. So there's 2 big events that the company has for us each year, and one is in March, which is career conference. It's either usually Madison, Milwaukee, Green Bay, or Minneapolis, and then Dallas in July. So knowing that it's coming, we just plan ahead. My goal is to always have you go in cash, never to go on credit, okay? Because you know it's coming, we just plan ahead. So some people actually take their savings account, you know, you have your checking account, you might actually transfer money, get it out of your account and put it right in your savings account and not touch it because that's your continuing education. Does that make sense? So that's how some people keep track of it that way. Questions on the tracking register?
Pretty simple.
It is really simple. Simpler than you probably thought?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It does really keep things organized, and it helps you write yourself a paycheck and not accidentally embezzle from yourself. It's not that you do that intentionally. It's just easy to goof if you don't have it written down. So, Jack, I know you do this for Tammy. Any tips that you have as have you been doing this for her?
She's got that.
She do it on Excel, or she does? Oh, she does the across sheet.
Yeah, it's the cross sheet, and then we always take her weekly
accomplishment sheet.
Maybe
Yes.
Back here, I don't know.
Her weekly accomplishment sheet. Yep. Yes. Which we're coming to more. Yep.
You're probably getting all that.
I do. I get all her copies. I get all her copies. See, it's all good. I love it. What he's talking about is this form, and it's not in your packet because it's more columns. But if you like this better, we can do that. I like to keep things simple because I'm detailed. I tend to feel like I go a little too much detail for people. This is, again, your sales tax. This helps pay back a loan because some people actually start their business with inventory and they pay back a loan, or they pay back their home equity loan, or they pay back their credit card or whatever. This accounts for that. So that amount every week goes back to your credit card. And when you pay your credit card weekly, it goes down faster and there's less accrued interest. Does that make sense? Kind of the same thing if you pay your mortgage every week. Yeah, same idea. So I'm all about using smart tools to help you pay back your loans. And I did the same thing. I used a credit card to start my inventory and paid that back. So that's what I worked on. Your earnings, your 40% earnings, paying back your 50%, and then your business expenses for, headbands, cotton balls, that kind of thing. So it's a really easy sheet. It's week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you'd like a copy of this, I can give this to you as well.
Because you send out that sheet, printed one?
This one?
No,
Tammy does the other one.
Oh,
Tammy fills that out for me. She probably gives you, does she give you a copy of it, Jack?
She just gives me that, and then I fill it.
You fill it out. Awesome. Yeah. She, it's a weekly accomplishment sheet.
Cute.
Aren't they adorable? Yeah. He's the VP of Finance. Curtis used to do all this for me. He doesn't as much anymore because he's crazy busy training new agents in his office. But I'm going to pull this out and just make copies. And that way you'll have it. And always after training, I always give you clean copies of things that you're going to reproduce, like color copies and closing sheets and that kind of stuff. You probably saw. I don't know if I sent it to you yet, but I will if I haven't already. But I might have done it. But that way you always have a clean copy to print from my copy of a copy. Okay, so back to the tracking register. So we talked about that. Filling out sales tickets. I want to kind of give you an idea how to fill out a sales ticket. So we're just going to continue on then. We're going to go over to Beth Anderson, who's our party hostess. So that's the next page. And what I did is I actually put sales tickets right in here, and we're going to rewrite it. There's something about visually seeing things and rewriting it so it makes sense to us, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about Beth, and she's our party hostess for the night. We put the date of her sale. On the top middle, she paid by check or cash, and we're going to write down what she got and what her half-back bonus was. So down below, if you want to write this out, you can. So that way it makes sense to you. Again, we talked about how sales tax should be calculated on the full retail amount, that full retail subtotal. Mary Kay, again, collects our sales tax on the full retail amount of our orders in an effort to save us paperwork. Yay. Otherwise, each consultant would have to file state sales tax forms, which is a real-time consuming thing. Hostess credit, whatever way you determine your hostess credit is up to you. It's necessary to indicate it on your sales ticket, so you record the percent or the dollar amount on your sales ticket. You are your own boss. You don't have to call me and say, Jane, can I run this special? You can do it however you want to, and I have oodles of ideas, so it will save you time if you need ideas. We can do that together. Other discounts or other gift certificates, you would just note that as well, and gift with purchases, because it's a lot easier if you track it. So now as we look at Beth Anderson, she bought a microdermabrasion set, which is $55 retail. And you notice where it says price on the top kind of right side, I crossed that out and wrote discount. And this will make more sense because we're going to go through a couple of these examples to help you as you do this. There's no discount on this for her. $55 is full price. Her peach satin hand set that she loved is $34. And then the satin lip set is $18. So those are the 3 items she chose. And she and I have gotten together before, because you'll notice I wrote detailed notes on there. I said she spent $100 at her first appointment. See that on there? Kind of the parentheses, kind of toward the top example there. So then I don't have to retrace in my brain, because if you're having a couple parties a week, which is only about 6 hours, you know, maybe an hour to prep and clean up in between and call hostesses, you could do that in less than 10 hours a week easily. You could do 3 parties in 10 hours. But in 10 to 12 hours a week, I earned my first car in Mary Kay while I worked full-time and finished a thesis. So you can make that kind of money, which was great, and that's what got my attention, that I could do this. So she spent $100 at her first appointment. Her half-back bonus then, and this will make more sense as you listen to part 1 of our training, but basically anytime you spend $100 in full price products, you get half back at your follow-up, and I know you did this with Tammy at your party. So you get $50 free, and then we always give them a compact, and she chose the regular compact, not the mini compact, so that's $18. So really she's going to get $68 free from me. Does that make sense? So as I look at that, she gets her free compact, and notice I wrote 100% discount, $18 there. Okay? Now, if I total all that up, the 55, the 34, the 18, notice I put the 18 in there, and I did include that to get the 125. Any guesses on why I included that? When I want to figure something out. What do we have to figure to get the full retail amount? We have to figure the sales
tax.
Right. Because we paid Mary Kay the full price on that, right?
Yes.
So 125 times 5.5% is your 688. See how it's down a couple lines? Now, see where my parentheses, my brackets are? Kind of in the middle, I wrote my halfback bonus is $50 free, and then she gets the compact free. So I'm going to take that off. Otherwise, I'm charging her for the compact, and I don't want to do that. So I'm subtracting 68. So I take the very full retail amount, 125, minus the 68, but I'm including the full retail amount on the tax, the 688. Okay? So her total is $63.88. So I know that's probably confusing. That's why we go through it, because there's, the world is not going to end if you mess this up. Because I've messed it up before, or I've forgotten to charge tax, or I've charged sales tax on the 125 minus the 68 and not the full retail amount. It's all good. There's nothing. We're not doing brain surgery here. Okay. So don't stress out about it. But we're going to keep going, and I'm going to give you another example, okay? Because I want to do just so it gets in our head. Questions so far? Okay. All right. We're going to keep going. So filling out sales tickets. We're continuing this now. Your method of payment. Using the boxes on the sales ticket, record how the customer paid you, whether it's a check. We tease about the husband unaware program, the HUP. It might be a little cash, a little check. Jack's sitting here. Good thing he knows that we didn't do that with him. But anyway, some women will actually do that. They will pay in cash, they'll pay with a check, and they'll pay with a debit card or a credit card or whatever. And they'll do a little bit and stagger it out. Paula Bisick, my good friend who's in Marshfield, who you met, Emily. Have you met her yet, Shannon? She's a director friend in Marshfield, and you'll meet her at events and stuff. Anyway, she did the HUP, the Husband Unaware program, and her husband didn't know that until she became a director. And he's like, oh! It was so funny. How do you figure that out? But anyways, accepting credit cards. We have a system set up for us already that accepts credit cards. It's called ProPay. It's kind of like PayPal.
Oh, okay.
Very simple, very easy. You don't need a scanner, to do it. We do it all online, and it's wonderfully secure. It's so secure that it scrambles it, so I don't even see it. I love that. So it's a great service. We sign up for this before we can accept credit or debit cards, and there's an annual tax-deductible fee of about $40. It's $39.95. You can pay that in one payment, or you can do it, I think, in 3 payments. And then I think they give you a credit back. They give you some money back when you've processed a certain amount of credit cards in the first 3 months. It's pretty nice. And it allows us to accept Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express. The neat thing is because of the sheer numbers of us as consultants, we get a really great reduced rate for merchant services. Like if you've ever been to a bank, and a lot of times they charge 4% on a $100 charge or whatever. So instead of $4, ours is 2.69%, so $2.69 instead of $4. So it's a good deal. When you process a card, you record the approval number on the sales ticket. So down below, notice how we wrote approved number 09218C. Notice how we wrote that on there. If it's a phone order or it's from your website, write it in the signature section, section per phone, per website, whatever it is. So that way anything that you write down will just help you later to track it. If you have a smartphone, you can actually go to Mary Kay In Touch Go. That's what that stands for, mkitgo.com. You can log in as the same as your Mary Kay In Touch password, and it's kind of a smaller version of Mary Kay In Touch. You can process a card right on your smartphone at the party. It's really cool, and it gives you a chance to save their card. Because sometimes, let's say I'm coming to a party, Shannon, I'm buying product from you, and you go through and process my card. I always ask customers, this is securely saved. Do you want me to keep this on file or do you want me to shred it? And whatever they decide, probably 90% of them want me to keep it and keep it scrambled in ProPay. Because then when they get future orders, as long as they know it's secure, it's not kept on site, it's not on my computer, it's saved with a service like PayPal. Then when they place future orders, I simply have everything right there, and I don't have to stop and bug out my customers. Love that. I have dozens of cards securely saved that way that I don't even see. I love that. So you would go to Mary Kay In Touch Go, MKIT Go, log in the party, and process down to process a card. You can process your credit card sales immediately right with them there and ensure that they go through and don't decline. Rarely does it happen, but it can. Or I write a number down wrong, or they write a number down wrong, that kind of a thing. But rarely does that happen. When you transfer or use your ProPay funds, you can actually use your available funds. So like, let's say I place an order through you, Emily, and my $100 is sitting in your ProPay account. Okay? You can actually transfer my $100 into your Mary Kay checking for 30 cents. They charge you 30 cents to do that. Or, because you're going to set up your Mary Kay account, so it goes to that. You wouldn't set up your personal account, you'd set up your Mary Kay checking, because this is all business stuff. But what I actually prefer to do is I leave the money in my ProPay account, so when I go to place an order with Mary Kay In Touch, right online, it'll say, Jane, you have this many dollars available in your ProPay account. Would you like to use these toward your order? So let's say I placed a $1,000 order. When I did mine last week, it said you have $383.43 or whatever available in your ProPay account for no fee. You can use that to pay for my order. So instead of my order being $1,000 whatever, it was like $620 worth. And Tammy does that too. It's nice to be able to use those funds with no fee and have it right there. So it's just really, really slick. When we go to workshops or things, I write one big check for a whole unit. So you can actually transfer funds from your ProPay account into my ProPay account, and then I write one big check. So that's another easy thing. I mean, it just makes everything so easy, and it's all recorded because it writes it down as it does it. So make yourself a reminder to print a ProPay report at the beginning of the month for the previous month, just to track your fees and expenses, because again, that's a deduction. So you're going to love all the things that you have as a deduction. Maybe in your home right now, you do not get to write off your internet or a room. This whole room is a deduction. My lights, the carpet cleaning in here, all that kind of stuff is a deduction. If this room is about a quarter, like 25% of our house, for example, or 20% or whatever, then 20% of our utilities, our garbage, our electric, our water is a deduction. So it's called office and home. So all the things that you have now that you pay for, your cell phone, all those things that you have now will be a deduction for you now as you keep good records, and we'll talk about that too. Isn't that exciting?
It is.
I love it. Mileage is huge. Coming here tonight, Mr. Mary Kay driving you over here, that's a deduction. Anytime you come to my house, anytime you go to Tammy's, anytime if you're doing business, that's a deduction. Your parties, yeah, isn't that cool? Very fun. With gas the way it is, that's a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's look at Ann Smith down below. Another example. We've got down her credit card. We wrote down the approval number. We wrote down her expiration. We do not need her 3-digit CID on the back as of yet. There's a spot to put it in online, but until they ask for it, I'm not putting it in. So you don't need that. Then she bought an Ultimate Miracle Set, and I wrote ND. That stands for normal to dry. You always want to note what kind it is, so that way when you go back and I go, Emily, I'm out of my 3-in-1 cleanser and my age fighting moisturizer. You can go back on your sheet and go, oh yeah, she is normal to dry. Then you know what kind to send me or drop off. And that's $175. Okay, our Ultimate Miracle Set is $175 with the Beige 5 Luminous Foundation, which is $20. So there's my full price items right there, $195. Now, when you buy the Ultimate Miracle Set, and again, this will make more sense when you go through training number 1, because we talk a lot in detail about that hostess credit, or our sheet, but you saw it at Tammy's party that she did with you. But you get 4 half-off items. So when you look down below, these half-back items, she gets the travel roll-up bag free. So that's 100% discount, but I need to put it in there. Why? Why do I need
Sales
to carry
tax.
it? Sales tax, because we have to do a full sales tax. Right, good job. So her half-off item, she picks the foundation primer with SPF. It's normally $16. Notice in the discount line we put 50%, and it's minus $8 off the $16. Okay. Her firming eye cream is normally $30. It's minus 15 or 50% off. Am I going too fast?
Mm-mm.
Ultimate Black Mascara is normally $15. It's half off for $7.50 off. And then her oil-free eye makeup remover. It's normally $15, half off, it's $7.50. So when you add all that up, 38, 15, $7.50, $7.50, that's $68, which I should have wrote there. So now if I go to my far right-hand column, I'm doing my 175, my 20, and then I go down to all of her 100% or 50% off items, the 30, 16, 30, 15, and 15. If I total all that up, it's 301, okay? Tax on 301 is $16.56. Makes sense? On the full amount. But then I'm going to subtract the 68
From the tax.
from the tax.
Yeah.
From the total. So
Total
301 minus the 68 plus the full tax, $16.56 equals $249.56. Now, just for fun, which items did she pay full price for?
The Ultimate Miracle Set and the Beige Foundation.
Excellent. So $195 she paid full price for. So if I want to figure out what her halfback bonus is, because she spent full retail price, the $195. So what would she get back when she hosts a party? $195 divided by 2, right? Which
Yeah.
would be around
Whatever
$100.
that number would be.
Whatever that would be. 100 and some bucks, whatever. Close enough. I don't have my calculator here, but $195 divided by 2. That would be what she would get back at her party, and that would be her hostess credit. So just a refresher, $195, she's going to pay us that full retail amount on that, and it only cost us the wholesale, the half, whatever that half is, okay? $100 or whatever. When we go to give her $100 free, her $100 free only cost us $50. Does that make sense? I probably lost you there. Was that too much number? Let's do simple math. If she did $200 full price, she's going to pay us $200 that night and we deposit it. Then when she holds on her original date, has 2 to 5 friends there, has at least $300 in sales, we're going to give her $100 free, but that only costs us $50. So she's paying us $200, but I'm going to give her $50 back. That's only a 25% discount. Does that make sense? So that's the most we probably would pay a hostess, but the halfback bonus is fabulous. It hooked me big time. It probably hooked you too. I mean, it's so awesome to be able to save that kind of money. So then I felt like I could get my skincare, because at my halfback I was going to get all my color. I don't know if you guys did the same thing, but it was wonderful to be able to get some product free that way. And women are all about discounts and cost savings. And there's something about seeing the dollar amount that you can get free, which really makes a huge difference. Questions on Ann Smith? Good?
I'm good.
Okay, you guys are doing so good with all these numbers. Okay, Mary Murphy, let's do one more. She paid by check or cash, and she did a split payment. Now this is common, this is why I want to put this in here for an example. She bought the Miracle Set. CO is combination to oily. Ivory 2 MP is mineral powder foundation. You'll abbreviate however it works for you. 1 mineral powder brush, the foundation primer with SPF. Because she did the Miracle Set, which is the bottom left set on our closing sheet, it's the Miracle Set, plus your foundation, and then she added, of course, the brush. She picks 2 half-off items as a result of that. So when you do the Miracle Set, you get 2 half items off. So her foundation primer is half off, normally $16. She gets it for -8. Get our eye makeup remover, which is to die for. Liquid gold, we call it. $15 retail, half off is $7.50. So $15.50 is what she saves on those half off items. She decides that she wants to pay it in 3 payments and just divide it out. So she writes it down. Every 10 days she's going to pay you. I like to do it, like half now, half later, only because, half now and half in 2 weeks or whatever, because you have to pay half now, whether you need to order it or whether you have to replace what you've sold cost-wise. So it's nice to get at least half up front if you can, but it's totally up to you. It's your business. However you want to roll it out, however you want to do it, it's totally up to you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Then down in the bottom, we add up our full subtotal, full amounts, right? 90, 18, 10, 16, 15, and the total is 149, right? For the subtotal, and then we subtract the discount, $15.50, and then we have tax on that full amount, which is $8.20, and our new total is $141.70. Any questions on that or how that works? Okay, you guys are doing great. I know this is a lot of numbers, but I think it's so helpful to have the sales tickets right there so you know where they go and how they work. Personal and demo use. Hi, T. This is my daughter Taylor. She's 14, soon to be 15. This is Emily and Shannon. And you know Mr. Mary Kay here. Jack. All right. Personal and demo use. Personal. Each month, use 1 sales ticket to record all the products you and your family use. You can do it on a sales ticket. You can do it on a tablet, however you want to do it. But anytime you take anything off your shelf, whether it's personal products for you, and I want you to do that, because whatever you use, you'll sell. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. If I say, oh my word, Emily, your eye makeup's so pretty today. What do you have on your eyes? Or Shannon, your lip color's so pretty. What do you have on your lips? People want to know, when they find out that you're a Mary Kay consultant, they're going to want to know what you're wearing, what perfume you have on. It's crazy, because they see you as an expert in your field. It's really cool. So you do not include these totals on your weekly summary sheet, unless you're like your weekly accomplishment sheets. When you say your sales for the week, you wouldn't put in your personal use products. But it helps you track and record the proper deductions, okay? So whether you put it on a sales ticket or tablet or whatever, just make sure you keep track of it. Now, another reason you might pull products off is to demo them. Behind you, Emily, Taylor can actually point. There's my tray over there. That's a few more products than what came in your starter kit. But I pulled them off, okay? So because I'm a director, I want you guys to be able to see them and try them and use them, so that I put them in the acrylic tray. And in training number 1, I had that over here and we talked about it. But it's nice to have everything in there and organized and it looks professional. But, as you pull things off, you'll want to write that off because that's a deduction, okay? So whenever you need to demo it, you just write it off as a demo use, date it for the entire month. Again, don't use that on your summary sheets as sales because it's not a sale, it's a demo. You're going to write it off as a demo. The only other things that I sometimes put in there are gifts. Or if I make a donation, I like to donate products that are discontinued sometimes, so like the Family Center in town, which is a domestic violence shelter or women that need a fresh start. And so, I like to donate that, so I keep track of that as well. So if you do any of those special things, or Christmas time, people say, oh, Jane, we have our Cancer Foundation banquet. Can you donate a gift basket? Or one of my friends from college has cancer, and so we're doing a benefit for him. And so they asked if I would do, absolutely, I would do a basket. So, those kind of things I would put under donation. So, anytime you take anything off your shelf, you just want to note it. And I'm always available to answer those questions, okay? So what to do with your copies of your sales tickets. I had to include this so you know. When you get sales tickets, they're multi-carboned copies, okay? So the first copy, the top copy, is easiest to read. I attach that to my customer profile. So the customer profile is the sheet that you get. I should have brought one of those over here. It's just a profile that the customer writes on their name, address, phone, email, best contact, what I want to change about my skin. My skin is dry, normal, combination, oily. It kind of looks like this. It's kind of like a half-page size, and they're in your kit. They came with your stuff in a shrink-wrapped packet. And then I attach that first copy to the back of it. So I always have the newest copy of the receipt behind it. So that when I call you, Shannon, and I say, oh, I'm out of my foundation, you can simply just go back and say, oh, most recently she had this, because it's my summer foundation or whatever. You can say, oh, is it still your beige 2 matte foundation? Yep, okay, great. Because I never have customers now. I love spoiling them rotten. They never say, Jane, I need my beige 2. They say, I need my foundation. And I go on my computer, or you would go on your profile and look it up. You'd have it in a copy. If you like to be paperless, I do have a system that does that. Tammy uses it too. It's fantastic, but you can also do it on Mary Kay and Touch and save money that way too, because they've improved that program greatly since I started my business 16 years ago. When I started, we didn't have anything to track to be paperless. Second copy I usually give to my customer. Third copy, I attach my weekly accomplishment sheet to show my sales for the week. It's important to be able to. I've never been audited. I've got great accountants. You know, it probably will happen in my career sometime, because it usually does for people, but I keep very good records, and I'm not worried about that at all. But it shows that I was doing what I said I was doing when I sold it to that person, you know, so I have that copy, which is really nice. So let's talk about a weekly accomplishment sheet and what that looks like. How you doing? So far, so good? See why we take a break after this one? So when you look at this weekly accomplishment sheet, this is just a paper version of what we have online. Thank God everything has evolved into online versions. It's just so much easier. So what you would do is you would fill this out, your name, your phone number, my name, the week ending automatically pops up there. It automatically does Sunday through Saturday. So you may want to note that. That's what your week is, Sunday through Saturday, always. And it'll automatically pull up this week unless you tell it otherwise. It's just a little pull down menu. So if you're like, oh, phooey, I forgot to add my sale to Emily last week, you know, you can actually go down, hit the pull down menu from last week and edit it. And there's no big deal. But otherwise it automatically puts in this week. Just very simply, Beth Anderson was our hostess, right? We spent 2 hours with her. There were 3 guests that were there, 3 orders, 1 future booking, and 2 skincare sets sold. Now 2 sets might mean just a cleanser and a moisturizer. It might mean a cleanser, moisturizer, foundation. It might mean the Time Wise set. It might mean the Velocity. It might be men's skincare. It might be the new Time Wise Repair. Look at how many options there are to sell skincare sets. So there's really lots there that are listed. Then your sales, not including your tax, she was 57. Ann Smith, notice I don't put 2 hours, 3 guests, 3 orders, 1 booking. I don't list that twice because then it double counts it all. Does that make sense? But I like to type in her name so that I don't have to go back and figure out who was all at that party. So it just, to me, is simpler if I have everybody's name listed there. Does that make sense? It's probably easier for Jack, too, when he's doing his VP of Finance stuff. He can see what's all there. He knows it's a party because there's 3 people listed. So 1 person is a facial, 2 people is a double facial, and 3 or more is a party. So it's not hard. Okay. Ann Smith spent $233, and Mary Murphy spent $133.50. Now the cool thing on here is when you add this in, it will automatically give you your total. It'll automatically do it for the week, and it'll do it for your year to date. So I always say, if you get done with a party, you can't sleep because you're too excited anyway. So you might as well go home and take 15 minutes and clean your mirrors, repack your bag. Because I always say you should be ready to go in 10 minutes. Because if I get sick and I need you guys for a party in Marshfield, I can call you and you're ready to go. You know, because we can dovetail appointments. Because that's 35% for you and 15% for me, even if I don't go. Because I'm giving you the leads and the business there, okay? But you always want to be ready. But I would do my weekly accomplishment sheet too, and then just save it, and not finalize it until the end of the week. Because let's say I'm at $398. I would have wanted to get to $400, but I didn't know it because I didn't track it. Does that make sense? So in Mary Kay, we always say a tracked number grows. Miss Tammy was tracking, and I brought one of her tracking sheets over here. She did our Power Players tracking, and you'll see this in our newsletter. It's up here on our bulletin board. This is your board. This is our bulletin board and how we track everything for the month and throughout the year. These are the faces that she saw. These are people she shared the company with. She's a silver Power Player, which means she gets a really nice present from me. But look what happened. She got 3 new girlfriends to run with on her team, and now she's soon to go on Target for her car and also directorship. So it's really exciting that she's doing that with a full-time job and a part-time job and a very happy, supportive family. So kudos to Tammy. So I just think it's fun to be able to track and watch those track numbers grow with you. Okay. Notice the sales tax totals up, and then also the product given away at Section 1 retail. I want to just briefly explain that. Section 1 is actual product you'd sell, like your full-size retail products. And because we gave some hostess credit away and some halfback bonus stuff, that's what that $150 is, okay? So we want to keep that in check. We don't want that to get too crazy. That's plenty high, but we also had some big sales to some of those ladies as well. The column just before that, hostess gifts or GWP, gift with purchase, that means the $40 gift with purchase. Those are usually about a $4 item. Right now it's the really, really cute little mesh black bag, zippered bag, with a travel eye makeup remover and a travel lash love mascara in black. It is so popular.
I like it.
Isn't it cute?
I got it.
Oh, isn't it cute?
Yes.
Your customers will flip. And so our gift with purchases are great for everyone. They're not like red lipsticks that not everybody would wear,
right,
or things that wouldn't pertain. They're practical and they are wonderful. We have 4 a year, and a lot of companies don't have 4 a year. So very, very fun. Now notice in the bottom right, it'll take your weekly sales total times your 60-40 split. Mary Kay was so wise to help us with that. It figures out your gross profit is $169.40, and she worked 2 hours, so she made about $80+ an hour. Isn't that exciting? So it's girl size pay. We always say, when I was counseling, I was making about $50 an hour, and I thought, what in the world can I do to legally make $50 an hour to replace my income? And so when I started looking at the bank that I was working with, merged with another larger bank, and now both my jobs that I had are both gone. They've been outsourced. So I would not have a job anymore. My department was just outsourced, and so all my friends have either retired early or are looking for jobs again. So you look at that and you think plan B can become plan A. And so I'm really thankful that I took a chance, but a lot of new consultants can start around $25 an hour. And I was like, wow, that's exciting. So that's why I haven't gone back to counseling, because I like mentoring women in a much more positive way. But good memories, though, good memories. So anyways, that sheet will be very helpful. So when you have your first sale, I can't wait to hear about it, whether it's a mascara, whether it's an eye makeup remover, whether it's a lip gloss. I want to yell and scream with you on the phone, because then we can fill out this weekly accomplishment sheet, and we'll have stuff to put in there, okay? So it's a big deal. We get excited when that happens, all right? Tracking your money, and then I think we're just about done with this page, because the rest of them are kind of just FYI. Separate savings and checkings is a must. We talked about that. It's one area that must be taken seriously as a newer seasoned consultant. You need to have a separate business checking or savings account for your business only. So shop around for the best deal. Banks are looking for customers just as we are. We just opened a new account with Associated Bank here in town. And, whatever bank you go to is great. But they gave away free Brewers jerseys and that kind of stuff. And so Chris is like, oh, that sounds good. And a couple $100 back or something once you started. So the first 3 months you were a customer or something. So anyways, they will not give you the best deal unless you ask for it. And don't ask for a business account, because you want to make sure that they're not charging you extra fees. So just get another personal account. Just say I need a separate account I need to track for. The volume of business we do is not the same as with a business account. So be sure to ask them for a debit card. Many times I am placing my orders after business hours, because I'm waiting to get everybody else's order in at about 10 at night, 11 at night, the last day of the month. That's when I'm putting my order in. So that might be the same for you after you're done with your parties or kids are in bed or whatever. And so sometimes debit cards have daily limits, so that, like a $200 daily limit or whatever, in case somebody steals your card or whatever. So I always try to have that limit raised, or encourage you to raise it, because my orders are usually 1,000 or more. And so if I have a limit there, it's going to freeze me at 10:30 at night, and I can't do anything. So I just have that lifted, the daily limit. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Carbon checks, again, whatever works for you. If you're not detailed, I highly recommend carbon checks, because you may write a check out to me for an event or whatever, and you can't remember if you did it. That's all a deduction for you, and carbon checks will help you. They do not replace an original cash register receipt. But I have a little cash book over here that you can actually write yourself a receipt saying, I paid this to Jane for a workshop or whatever, so you can keep track of that. But they just leave a little room for error, and you don't have to trust your memory, because we all have busy lives, Yeah. Number 3, all cash inflows and outflows should go directly through your Mary Kay accounts. Either deposit into your Mary Kay checking or savings. Do the 60-40 split with that very simple sheet with all your sales monies. Your commission checks can also be deposited promptly. Now, your commission checks come with your very first team member. So when you have a running buddy and their customers order from them, you get 4% on whatever your customers order. Isn't that awesome? So that's how your team grows. So Tammy now is just gone from 4% love checks, we call them, because they're written right from Mary Kay. They say Mary Kay Inc., Dallas Parkway, Dallas, Texas, right on the check. Now to 9 or 13%. Did you know that, Jack? She's now doubled or tripled her commission checks. Isn't that exciting? So it's very, very fun to see how your business continue to grow as your team grows. And so from your very first team member, and again, that's a wonderful change since I started 16 years ago too. You used to have 3 team members before you got a commission check. Now you just have to have 1. So pretty exciting. Let's see here. 60-40 split. Checks should be written from your checkbook to pay for your business expenses or take a personal draw. Your wholesale orders need to be paid for with a debit or credit card. Again, I think a debit card is safer, less likely to get in trouble. You may use a credit card maybe for your first inventory purchase and then pay it off according to that sheet Jack and I were talking about that I'll make copies for you. Bottom line, all money is deposited and all money taken out through checks is written for that purpose. It's not for personal transactions unless you're writing yourself a paycheck if you have the money, okay? So if you embezzle from yourself and if you take the $1,000 that's in there from all your sales and you're only supposed to pay yourself $400 of that $1,000 and you write yourself a check for $1,000, now you've just shorted yourself $600. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you'll mess up your business. There are 12 copies. This is just an example. I take these little envelopes, that have little flaps on them, and I just make 12 copies of this monthly income form, and I tape it, glue, or staple it together for your Mary Kay year. And this keeps track of your sales for the month and year to date, and you can just circle what month it is. And then also here's your business tracking register. So you can do it this way too. So you can do it by paper like this, or you can do it with Excel, whatever's easier. I like to automate my stuff, but I have director friends that still use the tried and true paper method. And that's just easier for them. But the key is to do it. So if I have your permission, I'd like to gently check in with you about your 60-40 split, because I want you to be successful, and I'm your business mentor next to your family. I'm your biggest fan. But I can't help you if we're not tracking that income the way we should be. I can help you. That's not what I meant. But I want to help you with that part of it. If you're struggling with it, I want you to be open with me. I struggled with it, and I went to my director and I said, I am not doing this very well. I need some help with this. And she helped me with it and helped me be accountable to it, and it was great. So if you need that, please tell me, and we'll do that together. The checklist for general business expenses for your business, we talked about that. Paste that again, this monthly income form and expenses. Sort your receipts, your statements, product order sheets. When you place your orders, you are going to get these white little sheets, these product order summary sheets in your boxes. Do not throw those away, because I never get a copy of those, and the company doesn't keep a copy of those. So you want to make sure you keep them, and I just staple all of them together. There's 1 in each box that comes. So when I unpack my 3 boxes, I'll have 1 in each box. And then I get them, staple them together, and I put them in my product order summary file. So I like to, you can put it all in one thing and track it on the sheet, or you can just keep individual manila folders, like auto fuel, auto maintenance, auto car washes, however you want to do it. Copies, advertising, all the stuff that's on here, you can do it that way, or you can put it all inside here and then track it this way. Does that make sense? So you can use manila folders with your receipts, or you can put them in here and then right on the top. Either way, whatever makes it more organized for you. I'm just giving you options. You never want to throw them in a shoebox and just try to organize them at the end of the year. I've had people do that before I train them. Or I've had other consultants and other units that have done that, and that's really a mess. So I encourage you not to do that. So my accountant is here local, and I have her come in a couple times a year. We're planning an event in November with your support system, whoever that is, your mom, your husband, your boyfriend, whatever, to come and to do a couples night with the accountant and go through the money management stuff again. So if there's any changes to tax law, anything we need to know about for deductions, she'll fill us in, and she's great. She makes a dry topic very fun to listen to. Curtis loves tax deductions. He's all over that. Tips for good money management. Watch the closing dates on your credit card. When you place an order, do so a day or 2 after the closing date. This gives you nearly a month before it's billed and nearly a month before the bill is due. So that way you almost have 2 full months. Hi! That way you almost have 2 full months to sell the product and pay off the card. So for example, let's say your credit card closes on the 19th, place your order on the 20th or 21st, so you have almost 2 full months before they bill you, before it's due again. Does that make sense? Because they won't bill you till later. So it's really awesome to be able to pay ahead of time, which is great. Hi, cute. Cute one, cute too. Hi, Tam.
Hi.
How to prepare for taxes, and then we're going to take a break. Each month, you complete that monthly income form that you've attached. Again, this form right here, you've filled this out, right? And then on Mary Kay's InTouch website, you go to Resources, Tax, and then print your income advisory statement, okay? As we get closer to tax time, I'll walk you through all this, okay? This isn't just the only time we're going to talk about this. And then on the InTouch website, Resources, Tax, and Review Tax Essentials. At year end, you do a physical inventory, just so it's easy to track what you still have on your shelf and what you don't. Determine the square footage of your home, the area you use exclusively for Mary Kay. My first office was a card table. So I evolved to this. I didn't start this way, but I was in a corner of a room on a card table. You know, one of my friends was underneath her bed. She would pull it out, use it, put it back underneath her bed. I mean, she had a 1-bedroom studio when she first got married. So you can start wherever you want, but if you're at a kitchen table, you know, an accountant or an auditor would say that's family space, you know, that's shared space. That's not a dedicated Mary Kay space. So if you have a dedicated second bedroom that you can use as a Mary Kay space, that would be great because you can write that room off. Tammy writes pretty much her whole lower level off. Soon to be her studio that they're planning, you know, so it's exciting to have an extra bedroom or whatever you have. You know, it might just be a portion of your unfinished basement or whatever. That's what I used for a while, you know, so it's okay to use it that way. Call Wisconsin Public Service, request a detailed utility report, have your mortgage interest statement or rent payment totals, property tax, copy of your homeowner's or rent insurance. If you've borrowed or loaned product to a consultant, you can never buy product from one another because then it's a violation of our agreement because we're only supposed to buy it from Mary Kay. Then we're a pyramid, and that's illegal. So you can trade product. You know, if Tammy needs a foundation, tonight she needed a foundation, so I'll just trade her one and she'll trade it back to me. It's not a big deal, that kind of thing. In your 1099, you'll get that if you have prizes and commissions totaling over $600. If not, you won't receive one of those. But I'm praying that all of us have ones. Wouldn't that be great? Mm-hmm. Very, very fun. So there's a copy of your monthly income form. I put a Schedule C in here if you want to look at that. My accountant takes care of that. I don't need to look at that. But if you want to see it, you can have it's in there. This Veteran Associates. This is my accountant that I use in St. Paul. He was fantastic. And it's just a front and a back sheet. That's it. And it takes me probably 3 hours to fill out my tax stuff for the year. That's it. Because I'm organized throughout the year, this is a piece of cake. So I want to encourage you, this does not have to be really time consuming. You can do your business 10 hours a week or 10 hours a month or whatever you set up to do. That's between you and your family, and then I just cheer you on and Tammy and I cheer you on. So this doesn't need to take an eternity, okay? So, yeah, I think we got all that covered. So questions on lesson 6, which is about an hour, and that's about how long it took us before we take a little break. Questions? Okay, we're going to take a little break. You want to stop me for a second, and then we'll turn it back on. I love it. I have techie friends over there.